Hi, I'm Jerri Hyde, Youth Services Manager at the Ames Public Library, and welcome to Well Read, a program about a little bit of this and a little bit of that at your Ames Public Library. Today we're going to be talking about something you might not think is a part of a library, but is a very important part of a library because readers could not read unless they knew how and know how to play. This is our continuation of our early literacy skills and practices program or series that we have, and today I've brought in my play expert, Danielle. You have many other expertise as well, but this play is a very important part that I know that you volunteered to take this practice, and tell us why that was.
Well, I chose it or asked to be in this one because it's so overarching. Every single one of these early literacy skills, somehow you can play in some way and have one of these skills come in. For example, narrative skills. Two little kids playing pretend, telling each other that story. You're the mom, I'm the dad, she's the baby, we're gonna go to the store. That's, you're telling a story, and it's the first step. In narrative skills, it's also that symbolic play. Yep.
That, those words on the page, we know that they mean things, but that very first step for all of our children who are beginning to read, those are symbols, and they have to know that this person or this word or letter means and stands for something else, and until they actually experience being a princess or being a mom, they don't know those things. So,
for example, you've got a puppet there, a little penguin or kangaroo.
Is it a penguin? No, it's a kangaroo.
But it's also just a piece of fur and cloth. But you ask any 3 or 4-year-old who's been exposed to a kangaroo before, and you say, "Well, what is this?" They're like, "It's a kangaroo." So they know that even though it's not really a kangaroo, it stands in for that kangaroo.
It represents, and we learn vocabulary going along with that as well, that the vocabulary that it isn't, what was it that you called it?
A penguin.
A penguin, because then we could talk about the differences. But that's a very good example, and I know that you did that purposely.
Oh, yes.
Because we, that's a wonderful way to find differences and learn the vocabulary about and describe the penguin versus the kangaroo and this little guy, the Joey, and all that because of a piece of fur.
Yeah.
It's not the real thing, but it symbolizes or represents the kangaroo. And you can talk about the country, and all those things can come out of that conversation with just a little tiny puppet and a little bit of play. The same way with going back to your mother and going to the store.
Yep, just like that.
And pretending to be the clerk at the
grocery store, the princess, or the box becomes a spaceship. Mm-hmm. It's not really a spaceship, hopefully. I've read some books.
Yeah, some books say the box takes them up into the sky.
So you never know what your child is actually doing in the backyard, whether they're actually going to Pluto, but hopefully they take a snack if that's the case.
Well, it is important to eat when you're flying in space.
I've always found it so.
Yeah. And many of our books share that.
They always pack a snack.
Yeah. So we're pretending is very important. And then just learning things and learning vocabulary.
Yeah, learning different ways. For example, just playing when they're climbing up some stairs. So they're when they get to the top, maybe there is a sign saying stairs. So they see those stairs, but they've been climbing them, and so they can see that sign, and it means something then.
Or top.
Or top, or bottom, or this way to the ice cream machine, whatever.
Or to your bedroom, and counting along the way.
Yeah, counting the number of the stairs. You can really take play and really almost trick children into learning.
True.
Because
tricking is kind of a mischievous type of word, so maybe we should say subtly
Yes,
we're teaching
subtly.
them without their knowledge.
We,
Same
you know,
words,
they'll find out eventually.
Yeah.
You know, the same way that if perhaps you put, you know, some spinach in a smoothie for them.
Very, very much so. So we've got lots of things around here. You have a Candyland game.
I do.
Now board games are real fun.
They are. They're really, really fun. Except if you maybe get a child like my sister who used to throw the board game when she wasn't winning. But, you know, that's another example of another way that play is really important. It, above and beyond all of the skills, it also teaches children how to get along in our world.
Our social skills.
But in addition, Candyland has no words in it. You know, you don't need to be able to read to play this, but if you, it looks like it's a spinner now these days. It used to be the cards, but now it looks like if you spin and get on a red, the children know that stands for moving their piece to the next red, or 2 reds, or if you look, there's a peanut on one of these because you're supposed to go to the peanut brittle cottage. So if you spin that, that's what it means. It symbolizes that. So that's one of the great ways just Candyland is.
Yeah, a simple board game. And when I think of Candyland or Chutes and Ladders, I always think about, you know, you almost get to the top and then you land on that one square and you have to go all the way back to the beginning, and how emotionally, you know, it was like, oh, I'm not there. But it's so much, you know, part of acting out how life can be. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but it gives you those different types of resolves. And so there's a lot of social type of skills and emotional intelligence here that we're learning as well. So playing, like you said, goes beyond these. But when you were talking about the red square and that's also sequencing, which is very much part of narrative skills, or, you know, making sure things are in
the order. You're not going to go to this red square because that's back. You want to go in the right order.
So yeah, so lots of things. And see, play is just such a wonderful learning experience.
You know, my mother, when she was playing her 15th game of Candyland on a rainy Saturday, did she realize that
what she was doing with
it's everywhere, which is fantastic.
So now that is a purchase game, you know, so there's lots of fun found things in the home that you can use too. And I see you have some measuring cups. Now I thought that was just for cooking.
Oh, no. So you can do so many things with these. So their math skills can really go. For example, say you have, I don't know, blocks or something little that you can fit in here, Legos. So say you put all the Legos in and you challenge your child to guess how many Legos are in the cup. And would there be more or fewer Legos in the half cup? And you can just, you know, this is just something that I happen to have. You know, my son pulls mine out of his drawer all the time. And he is still pretty young, but he is trying his best to put them in order. Last night he pulled up, I have a set of 3 stacking colanders like this, where they are graduated in size, and you can put them inside. And he is 15 months old, but by the end of the evening he had figured out, okay, this is the order. This is how it feels when I wear them on my head. This is you know, it's metal, it's shinier, it's heavier.
And the texture.
Yeah. How does this feel when I do this? It's just something that he dug out of a drawer.
And we were discussing about the STEAM, or science, technology, engineering, and math. And that is a very important role in the schools right now. But even as young as your child, they're practicing that by exploring and making predictions. I mean, he had to trial and error.
Yep, there were some
he did experiments.
He found out what it was like to stand on one until Mom ran and grabbed him off.
Yes.
What it was, how tall it made him. You know, there's a lot of things that a 15-month-old can find around the house, and that goes all the way up to older children. For example, you can also use these with older children or with younger or toddlers for what they're really meant to be used for, cooking with your child.
To cook and bake.
Yep. Not that I ever do that, but cooking with your child is really a great way to play, but also to deal with to work on their literacy skills, letter knowledge, challenge them to point out all the words that they know in the recipe, or if they're, working on their alphabet, can you find all the A's in this recipe? Can you help mom stir? Can you help mom measure? Or dad, mom, dad, grandma.
The adult caregiver.
Yes.
Or
daycare provider.
Yes.
Older sibling.
And again, with recipes, it's a different type of reading. They're directions, so they're narrative or step by step. But playing, and that's why like a pretend kitchen or stove is always so important, because again, children's work is play, and learning how to work through things or become different people is part of that playing, and a very important skill for them to learn in order to develop their reading skills or their life skills or cooking skills.
You don't all want people to end up like me.
Well, there's lots of us out there that don't want to cook. So
I love that takeout.
That's kind of a result of our society, I think, with all the restaurants and stuff. But but even at that, when you're at a restaurant, looking at the menu and talking about what this is or what that is, and pretending to order, you can take that restaurant type of activity into your home.
I always had a restaurant for my mom. My friend and I would make that food. We would write up a menu. Although we were in kindergarten, we didn't know how to write yet. But we got out the crayons and would scribble. And that's a great way to, teach children how to hold pens and pencils, coloring.
And print awareness, that they're writing something down. And all that comes from play. And we all played when we were, and we should all still be playing sometimes. Playing together is a lot of fun too. And we have some toys here that we happen to have here at the library. And that's always I have had people question that as to, why would you have toys at a library? A library is supposed to be quiet and you're supposed to have books. But play is very important, and it's one of those early literacy, from a toddler, from a baby that's crawling, from a baby that's in a mom's arms or dad's arms, being able to touch different shapes. Blocks are a very important part of that. The blocks can do lots of different things. In fact, it looks like we've had some
taste testing.
Tasting and exploring through that way.
Which is, a very important way to do it.
Very important way to do it.
Stacking, the colors, you can do all sorts of things.
In fact, they've done studies on block play and about how important it is that we do it. And there's I think there's like 8 or 10 different steps in doing blocks. And one is tasting it. And just holding it and feeling that shape, which helps us with the letter knowledge when you're a baby, exploring those shapes and the curves and the squares. Then the next step is stacking them in a simple stack of, up to, one on top of each other of similar sizes or not similar sizes, whether or not that's going to fall down or not fall down.
Whether you knock it over.
Yeah, whether you knock it over or not. The next step is making it a successful stack and doing same sizes. And then the final one is pretending with them and building garages. Like
I see
my attempt
you have a garage
here.
there.
Yeah, so my attempt was to build a garage for my little car or truck to go in. And so that's like the top symbolic again, that symbolic play where they're pretending to create something, and this stands for something else, and then now they can play with their cars and other things.
And then they have all these memories of things when they start to read.
Right.
So when you say, this is a G and this spells garage, they have many, many memories to fall back on, to associate.
Situation. Yep, very much so. So we're building that base level. We also have some puzzles here, and puzzles are also very important for all children and adults as well, and it's a form of play. Now, this is the type of puzzle I can do. You know, one happens.
I'm with you there.
The shape, the concept is there. They also have the words on it as well.
The colors.
Colors. So there's and underneath there's the clock or something that is the same shape in the real world. So the trapezoid is a wonderful yacht. So you know, we can dream. And so that's one way puzzles can be helpful for your child. Again, we have our pretend with the rainbow and the castle, and then the real with our animals. But then as we were putting this together, of the difficult ones where you have a wonderful illustration or a picture, but when you take it apart, you really have to have some sort of spatial experience and knowledge to do that. And again, both sides of our brains are working, trying to put the spatial together and figuring out what it is. So lots of things are happening, and play can, you know, be very difficult too.
It really can.
It really can.
And you know, that can be a good thing. Let children, you know, explore what it means to not get something right away, to not have that, you know.
The getting to that one that you have to go all the way back down.
Or, you know,
or you have to wait for
your
the prize.
sister won instead of you.
Instead of you. Or you create rules to change. I mean, all that is, you know, social skills that you're building. And so play has lots of things going on. Play is also a very important part of all of our lives to grow and experience and be able to solve issues or solve problems as we go. And I guess I want our audience to see that we don't have a television here.
Nope.
We don't have a computer. And these are things that are either found in your home or inexpensive games that you can play.
Or, you know, you can check out puzzles at our library.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thinking of that, thank you for promoting. But or you can just come here and play as well, and then you have some of those social skills with playing with others as well.
And, you know, new toys, always exciting. But and you know, there are times when I pull out the iPhone for my child, but I try to still make it an interactive experience with me. We try not to watch too much TV. We try to keep to things that are interactive. So if you are watching television with your child, know that, you know, discuss it. Keep that conversation going, just like anything else. And
limits are good.
Moderation in all things.
In all things. It's a very good thing to do.
Try not to do more than, you know, every family needs to figure it out for themselves. My personal is no more than 10 minutes at a time during a day.
But you can play
all
day long.
I'll play and read and, you know, we do have all sorts of, the American Academy of Pediatrics, I have this quote here I have to throw in.
We'll let you do it.
Play is essential to development because it contributes to the cognitive, physical, social, and emotional well-being of children. So it has all those things, as we've been talking about. And I just like to throw it in there because it's very official.
Yes, it's very official, and it's a very nice quote to put it all together as a nice way of concluding our program too, that the play is not just what children do to fill their time. Play is an essential part of their life in order to grow and to learn and to become the engineers and the lawyers and the teachers and the librarians of the world. So play is not something that is unusual for the library. So I hope you've learned that during our show today, that play is an essential part of being at the library for our youngsters in the world. And so the next time you come into the library, come back and check out the children's area, the youth area, and take a look at how much fun the kids are having and how important it is that they are having that fun and pretending. And think back to your childhood as well and remember those fun games that you had, whether it was your sister throwing the board or the earth, the dirt, playing in the dirt and having Hot Wheel towns and all that kind of good stuff. And then find time for that to happen with your family as well. So until next time, have a lot of fun playing, and we'll see you next time.